What is happening, guys? We got a cool video for you guys today. Something that we've been wanting to try for quite some time. And I'm sure it's something that you guys have been curious about too. So kind of let's get into it. We're going to try a few different deer attractants. We're going to put like 4 or 5 separate things out, put a trail camera on it, and see which one the deer prefer first. What do they prefer the most? What do they come into first? So let's check out what we got here. All right, so the first thing we got, deer corn from Walmart, just regular deer corn. We have apple flavored corn from Walmart. We got a bag of the Wild Game Innovations pile driver. We're gonna do a regular pile of corn, and then we're also gonna do a pile of corn with some of the Khmer deer corn coat. So we're gonna mix some of that with the corn and put it on there. So, and then we also have a thing of peanut butter. So what I did here, I drilled 3 holes in the top of the peanut butter. I'm gonna screw that lid into a tree. I'm gonna take it off and screw it onto a tree, cut the bottom out so it's sticking sideways and makes it waterproof. The deer can kind of just stick their tongue in there and lap it out. All right, so the corn coat, it says on the bottle, you mix 4 ounces for every 50 pounds of corn. So we've got about 10 or 15 pounds inside here. So I figure that's an ounce or 2 approximately. So we're just gonna kind of guess at it. Even if it's a little stronger than normal, that's fine. We're kind of just gonna get it close. Just an estimated guess. It smells really sweet.
I know.
Wow.
I thought that was the apple corn because it smells like apple.
Wow, it smells really sweet.
Let me smell. Oh my God, that smells
All right,
good.
so we're gonna dust
Really?
just an ounce or 2 in there. Oh yeah, that should be good.
You gonna mix it?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I have seen some things out there that talks about mixing Kool-Aid with corn for deer, and this honestly smells a lot like it. I ain't gonna lie.
No?
Blue bucket's got the corn coat. This bucket has the regular corn, and Tidy Cats with the flip top lid are the perfect corn carrying bucket. I'm telling you. Tidy Cat's cat litter. So if you got cats or you have one of these laying around, keep them. I mean, they hold them nice. You got a nice snap top lid. They're easy to open. They're great. And we got the pile driver. Bentley's got the apple corn. Let's go get this set up. The bottom right out of it here.
I want to lick your knife.
But you lick the bottom of the peanut butter. And then we just screw it in here. Just like this. Right. See there? Works perfectly. Now they can just kind of stick their tongue in there. I love peanut butter. Ain't no wonder deer like it.
It's good.
All right, so I'm going to try to go alphabetical. This was the apple corn. I've already got a little cord out here, so this is apple. So alphabetical, so that I can try to keep up with what I poured where. All right, next is going to be Khmer deer. Just plain Jane regular corn. And then pile driver peanut butter.
So you're pouring the peanut butter with the...
I'm just gonna put the pile driver just kind of right here under this tree. Okay. Okay, you can stop the video.
Oh, 4 coins.
All right, for the sake of keeping it straight, apple corn, come here deer, regular corn, pile driver, Wild Game Innovations, peanut butter. It's great value peanut butter. Now this is the setup I want to show you guys. So here is the corn. And right over here, 10 yards away, trail camera. Got it on video mode. And I'm also going to do the same exact thing at another location, more than likely tomorrow. So I'll have 2 cameras with kind of the same thing going. So maybe 2 different groups of deer. We'll try it out. So we'll see what happens. All right, we got it all set up. So basically we got same way as the other camera, apple corn, come here deer, regular corn, pile driver, and I got the peanut butter sticks in there as some dividers. So we'll come back and check it in about a week or 2 and see what happened. Alright guys, so let's go through the results of this thing. Some cool stuff coming out of this, I believe. So let's jump right into it. If you want to know the results a little quicker, you can always jump towards the end of the video and I will give you a conclusion. But if you want to see actually what happened here, as the deer come in and kind of what they go to first and all that kind of thing, just kind of keep following me along here and we'll kind of go through all of the video that I have here. So let's check it out. All right, so this is camera 1. We got our first doe coming in. She comes in and you can see her kind of sniffing around here and she goes straight, she's sniffing that apple corn pretty hard. Likely the same doe, just kind of switch positions and she goes for it. She gets her first bite of the apple corn. So the very first one, there's another one in the background back there you can see. But first bite from the first deer was on the apple corn. It's on the far left side there that she's on. Second doe comes in with her from the background that we saw there, comes straight in, starts munching on apple corn. Like I've said previously in the video, this is the apple corn from Walmart. I think it comes in 30-pound bags. 2 does here hanging out. This one, other doe comes over, she's munching on regular corn. So she's got apple corn on one side, regular corn on the other. Come here deer corn in the middle, pile driver there and the peanut butter. So we got apple corn and regular corn so far. Third doe comes in, you've got 2 does eating the apple corn and 1 eating just the plain Jane regular corn. Smells of the come here deer. You can see the one in the middle, she smelled of the come here deer just now, but I don't think she got a bite of it. She sniffed, went back to the apple corn. This one here, she comes up, and it's a fat doe. She comes up, she sniffs the peanut butter, sniffs the pile driver, and that kind of freaks her out a little, I think. No taking on the peanut butter or the pile driver. Got 3 does back in front of there. These 2 here are in the regular corn eating. And it appears the one on the left over here is eating the apple corn. She sniffed of the come here deer corn again and still passed it up, went back to the apple corn. Now all 3 does are eating the apple corn. It's pretty interesting. The apple corn is pulling ahead. Still 2 does sitting here munching on apple corn. They seem to be quite the fan of it. Still another doe eating apple corn. And you can look at these piles of stuff and the apple corn is almost gone already. Whereas the rest of it is still there's still a lot of each there. 2 does on apple corn, 1 on regular corn. Sniffs the pile driver, not interested. This doe is actually rooting the stick between the apple corn and the come here deer to find the last kernels of apple corn, but still not eating the come here deer coated corn. See, this one here comes in. You can see that stick right there. That's the divider between the apple corn and come here deer, and she's still looking for the last little kernels of apple corn when there's an entire pile of come here deer corn right next to it. She still skips over it to get the apple corn kernels. 2 more does still plucking at the apple corn. I mean, they are tearing this apple corn up. And as a second, I would say the regular corn still not, they're not eating it nearly as much as the apple corn, but now that the apple corn is almost gone, they are really, I would call the regular corn number 2. Another doe still comes in straight to where the apple corn is on the ground, sniffing around trying to find kernels of it. This is blowing my mind, really. I didn't think the apple corn would do this well. Whoop, little sniff of the come here deer. She may have gotten a kernel. That may have been the first bite. It's hard to tell. You got one here over on the apple corn side still. Maybe getting some kernels of come here deer corn, and the other one is eating the regular corn. Got our first buck in here. He appears to be standing over where the apple corn was. He's sniffing the ground and trying to find kernels of it. Oh, he's a taker. Another small buck comes in. Oh, well, no, I don't think he did. It looked like he was going to eat come here deer, but I don't think he took a kernel. He didn't start chewing afterward. Young doe, definitely eating some come here deer corn. They're not eating come here deer corn nearly as much as I expected them to, though, I will say. She skipped over the come here deer to go to the pile of regular corn. Still think the regular corn's a number 2. There we go. These 2 girls are both, the big one's eating come here deer corn, and then the little one sniffs the come here deer but then goes to the regular. This one here is coming in. All the apple corn is gone at this point, completely gone, and there's still a substantial amount of the others left. So I mean, the apple corn is for sure number 1 preferred food of these 4 items. First taker of the pile driver, a bunny rabbit. That is, I think it is a wheat-based food, so maybe rabbits like that more, I don't know. That doe just smelled the pile driver, not interested. She went back to the regular corn. Skipped over the come here deer just now after sniffing and to the regular corn, but I don't know if she took any of them. Another deer that sniffs the pile driver and does not take a bite. At this point, I'm going to say the pile driver sucks. Got another doe in. Yep, definitely number 2, the regular corn. Coming in regularly and eating that. And here we are, me and the boys are down there. We're kind of looking and investigating what's going on. We're talking about it there, evidently, and we see that the apple corn is completely shredded. It is gone. And They're still, you can still see regular corn and come here deer corn, pile driver. The peanut butter hasn't been touched, but you can see there are a little bit of the rest of them there, enough that's noticeable. And this apple corn is just absolutely eaten to the ground. I mean, they have plucked every kernel out. Every leaf is turned over and scratched up. There are no apple corn kernels left. First camera, definitely gonna give a major edge to the apple corn. It was obvious, man. They ate it first when they came in for the very first time. They ate it most often, and it was gone long before everything else. Actually, it was gone, and there was still the other stuff on the ground, on the tree. So it's definitely, with this particular group of deer, apple corn's #1. So let's go over and we'll check out camera #2. Here we are, camera #2. I took a still picture so that you can see. I actually ended up having to reset this camera, and you'll see that here in a minute. But I got some photos of the first time that I put the camera out. And I didn't adjust it real good so that you could see the corn on the ground really well. So what I need you to kind of focus on is there's a tree right here, right down the middle. And then we've got the apple corn on the left. You can kind of see the top of it right there. And you've got the come here deer corn, the regular corn, pile driver, and then the peanut butter is over here. So just remember that this tree right here straight splits the apple corn and the come here deer corn. Straight split on either side of that tree, and then the regular corn is just slightly right of the come here deer. So that'll kind of give you an idea of what's going on when we do see the deer here. So let's just click on through and check those out. It's the first deer that comes in. If you split that tree, there's a spike, and he's obviously at the apple corn. He's got his head down, and I do believe he's eating it. It should be right there. All right, another deer. This is the next morning. Obvious on the left side of that tree, she's in the apple corn pile. So the first 2 deer on video are in the apple corn pile. Huge buck here. I think it's later on the same night. He is slightly left, or slightly right of the come here deer. The come here deer is probably right here. He is in the regular corn pile. I think the pile driver is about right there. He is definitely, I think, in the regular corn. Got a couple does here that kind of, and they're standing right about where the regular corn will be, and they do put their head down, and they're obviously eating it. And here we are back to check it. And this is at what point I checked the camera and I actually reset it better so that we can actually see what the heck's going on. All right, after the reset, you can see the corn really well. Regular corn, come here deer corn, apple corn. Remember that tree right there, straight splits it. I put it out the same exact way this time. So that's the first one comes in. I'm not sure that it's eating either one of them yet, but we'll keep going through. It's hard to see here, but that is the deer's legs. And I'm pretty sure its head is right here. Now this is there's the tree. Apple corn should be right here. So there's the come here deer, regular corn, pile driver, yada yada. So it's on the side of the tree, the regular corn. Stupid rain would put a water drop right over the area where the deer is standing, but that's what I got. So I want to try to go through these results as good as I can, even though got a big giant water drop. All right, so you can see right here, you can see this deer's eyeball. You can see them shining through, and its head is on the ground. You can plainly see the come here deer corn and the regular corn, and I know the apple corn is there, so that deer is definitely at the apple corn, and its head's down and it is eating. You can see its eyes, and you should be able to see it in this next video as well. If you look through it, you can kind of see the eyeball moving inside there. It just raised its head up. That's very obvious. So it's on the apple corn as well. See, and now you can see its nose, some of that water droplets dissipated a little bit off the camera. You can see it moving its head, and it's obvious it's on the apple corn. We got another deer come in here. This one appears to be, you can see the stick that divides apple corn and Khmer deer, and it is on the right side of that stick, so it's standing in the regular corn. So even from the first camera, I still kind of stick with the fact that apple corn number 1 by a large margin, regular corn number 2. This one here appears to be our first one after several days. It seems that both of them, after several days at both locations, a deer, they will eventually start eating the Khmer deer coated corn, but it usually does, when they have the other options, it does take them a few days to get to that point of trying the Khmer deer coated corn. They prefer the apple and the regular and then the Khmer deer. They have not touched thus far on either camera the pile driver or the peanut butter. Total bust on both of those. So if they have other options, they are not interested in either. And we got a skunk. It seems interested in the pile driver. I think it was standing at the pile driver. It walked out just now and turned around and went back. So rabbit on the first camera, skunk on this second camera. They kind of maybe like the pile driver. And I think that's because it's a wheat-based product. Then we got raccoons coming in. All the corn is gone at this point. You can see that it's just, there's none there. So I think the raccoons may be coming in with like the skunk to clean up the pile driver and the peanut butter. And you can see this raccoon here, it's definitely at the pile driver pile on the right hand side. So I think that's what it's eating. So if you want raccoons and bunny rabbits and skunks, then by all means try the pile driver. If you're going for deer, it's not so great. Yeah, so this skunk, he's been there and he's just tearing up the pile driver. Let's see what we have here. I don't know why I included that video. And then we got a coyote here. This is after all the corn, all the pile driver's gone, and I believe he's eating pile driver. You can see right where it was, and I think he may have been the one responsible for maybe eating the peanut butter. And then that's me coming back to get the trail camera. The peanut butter is gone. Everything's gone at this point. This has been a 2-week, on the second camera it's been out for 2 weeks, whereas the first camera was out for like 5 days. But pretty surprising results thus far. All right, guys, so whether you went through all of these video clips with me to see the results, or maybe you skipped forward to the end, see the results to get this conclusion, my conclusion without a shadow of a doubt on the types of foods that we tried here in this attractant test, without a doubt, the apple corn from Walmart is #1, hands down. They ate it down to the dirt, basically, before much is touching the rest. They liked it the best. They hit it first, and they hit it most often, and it was gone first. So hands down, apple corn from Walmart is by far the best, in my opinion. Second was the just plain Jane regular corn that everyone's been using for years. We know it works. That would be my #2. The Khmer deer coated corn, I don't know why. The Khmer deer smelled really, really good. It smelled like cherry Kool-Aid or something something similar to that. It smelled great, but they just did not prefer it for some reason. It actually kind of surprised me. And then the Wild Game Innovations pile driver was a total bust. If you want deer, don't even fool with it. It's not worth it. It's small game. They seem to like it a little bit. And then peanut butter, I have used it in the past, but it was the only attractant that I put out, and they would just lick inside of the entire jar. But in this particular test, when they had the other options, the deer, or I don't have any proof of it anyway, the deer just did not touch it. I actually think the coyote was the one that may have eaten the peanut butter from the second camera. And the first camera, when I checked that to pull that card, the peanut butter had not been touched. So #1, best attractant based on this test was the Walmart apple corn. #2, regular corn. #3 was the Khmer deer coated corn. but it wasn't great by any means. And forget about the peanut butter and the pile driver. Just don't even use it. I hope this was some good information for all the deer hunters out there. I've been wondering for a long time about this, and I hope it helps you. And I hope you liked the video. And if you did like the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll just keep this content coming. If you'd like to see a different kind of test, drop me a comment, or if you'd just like to discuss the results of this test, drop me a comment. We'll talk about it. I'll definitely comment back and forth. But otherwise, hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.